Hi, hello to everyone. Welcome. I see already a lot of you very active in the chat. I'm very happy to see that and that you are as excited as we are for this session. Please, if you cannot hear me or you cannot see the screen for any reason, just shoot a message in the chat section so that I'm sure you can confirm that you can actually hear me. All right, so welcome everybody. Thanks to everybody who decided to join this session. For those who cannot make it, no worries, because we will be sending the recording of the entire meeting by the end of the week. Okay, so even if you cannot stay until the end, no problem whatsoever. We will send everything by email to those that registered for this session, if not tomorrow, on Friday. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Today it's going to be a very intense meeting full of information, because we will be talking about the rates in Lodgify, how to configure your rates, what are the available settings. Before we start, I want to quickly introduce myself and my colleague that is hosting the webinar with me. So my name is Adriana. I am the trainer in the customer success team at Lodgify. And together with me, there's Linda. She's the rates product manager here at Lodgify. Thank you for being here, Linda. And in the chat, you may also see, you may also get some messages from Timur and Kirilo. They are from the development team, and Prit from the QA team. So they can help us with the questions that you may have in the chat. So I will try to be as quick as possible, because there's really a lot to cover during this session. We will try to save 15 minutes at the end of the presentation so that we can go over some of your questions. Even if we don't manage to answer all your questions, as I said, do not worry. Together with the recording, we will send a follow-up email, and we will be able to answer any questions that we miss because of time during the meeting today. All right, so let's get started. How do we configure Lodgify rates? What are the available settings? I know this topic is very dear to many of you. Of course, you want to be able to offer the best price for your accommodations, and you want to be able to be as flexible as possible when setting up your prices for your rental or rentals. So let's start. These are the topics that we will be covering today: how to configure your price per night, some tips on how to determine the best price per night in case you're not sure, or you're new to the business, or you just don't have time to do it yourself, fees and taxes, promotions, and add-ons. So these are the topics that we will be covering today. Let's start with just an overview of the Lodgify rates. This is a rental in Lodgify, right? And there's a menu within this page dedicated to rates. Whatever we set up here will determine the price of the bookings that we receive through our website, and in some cases also through the connected OTAs if you're using the channel manager. So the price of a booking includes the room rate, right? So the price of the stay, the price per night multiplied by the number of nights given by the default and season rates that you configure here, plus nightly overrides in case you use this feature. We will go over all these things in a minute. Then fees and taxes, which are optional. The default rate is really the only mandatory setting that you are required to configure. Fees and taxes are just optional and consist in any additional charge that you want to add to the price of the booking. And finally, promotion and add-ons. Promotion, if you want to offer discounts to your guests. Add-ons instead are optional charges that the guest actually chooses to add to the price of their booking or not. All right, so let's start with how do I configure my price per night? So the room rate, where does the room rate come from? The room rate comes from the default and season rates. Definition of the default rate is the baseline for pricing your vacation rental. It's like a backup rate. It is mandatory because you must enter at least one price per night, but it's just a backup rate. What does it mean? That you can also configure season rates. These season rates allow you to set up prices and rate settings at the same time for a specific period of time. This can be a week, a month, an entire season. Very important, if you create season rates, the season rate will always override the default rate. Okay, so the settings and the prices configured within a season rate will take over the default rate once. And if you want to create multiple season rates, which is also a possibility through Lodgify features, you can do that, but it is very important to configure all the settings in each season rate individually. It's not enough to do it in the default rate. You have to do it for each season rate individually if you want those settings to apply during those periods as well. So this is just a quick video on how the rental section and the rates in particular looks like. This is how you create season rate. You give the season rate a name. It can be any name. Be careful because it's going to show on the website. These are the settings, and here you can select the period or periods to which this season rate should apply. But let's see a little bit more, like a little bit closer, what are the settings available in the default and season rates. Now, these settings are the same whether you're working on your default rate or you're working on the season rate. So you will find the exact same settings. The only difference is that for the season rate, you will have to add a period or multiple periods if you want. So first thing first, obviously configure a price per night. This is what you're seeing here in price per night and minimum stay. This is literally just the price of a stay for one night. You can also be a bit more flexible and configure prices based on the day of the week. It is very common to have higher prices during the weekend, right? You can do that. You simply activate the price per weekday by toggling on that little toggle that you see there. And you can configure different prices for every day of the week, including the weekend days. Next setting will be minimum stay and minimum stay per weekday. A minimum stay, normally when you create a new rental, it's going to be configured by default to one night, but you can change it to make it higher, right? And you can also set different minimum stay per weekday. It's very similar to the previous setting. Normally, you may want to be sure that your weekends are fully booked and that you don't have guests checking out on Saturdays, for example. You can use the minimum stay per weekday to do that, okay? Next, length of stay prices. These are settings that are actually very common. Many of our customers use weekly and monthly prices. The weekly price allows you to enter a flat rate, so fixed price for 7 nights bookings, while monthly prices allow you to enter a fixed price for 30 nights bookings. And there's also the option to add a third length of stay price based on a custom period. So you can choose the number of nights. It could be 14, it could be 60, it could be literally anything you want, and you can enter a fixed amount, like a fixed price for the custom period as well. And then the occupancy, another setting that is very, very used by our customers. This allows you to configure an extra price based on the number of guests. So let's say that your rental accommodates up to 10 guests, but for the 9th and the 10th guest, you want to set an extra price, like you want to charge an extra on top of the room rate calculated on the price per night. You can do that by activating the occupancy. The charge will be calculated per extra guest per night. So in our example, it's going to be for guest number 9 and for guest number 10th, multiplied by the number of nights included in the booking. Next would be check-in and check-out restrictions. This is the only setting that doesn't really have an impact on the final room rate, so on the price of the booking, but it allows you to prevent check-ins or check-outs or both in one specific day of the week. So the example that I mentioned before, let's say that you don't want to have guests checking out on Saturdays. You can activate the minimum stay per weekday combined with the checkout restrictions. You simply untick Saturdays from here, and automatically Saturday will not be a checkout option on the website, so it won't be selectable on the website as for the checkout. And then last setting allows you to configure a short stay price. Let's say that your minimum stay is 3 nights, but you don't really encourage your guests or potential guests to book for 3 nights. You would like them to stay, you would like them to book for a longer stay. In that case, you can configure an extra charge if the stay is too short. And here you can enter the amount of night of a short stay. So if it's 3, for example, the extra will only be added to bookings with no more than 3 nights. Bookings of 1 night, bookings of 2 nights, and bookings of 3 nights, 1 and 2, as long as your minimum stay allows it. So if you have configured a minimum stay of 3 nights, 1 night bookings and 2 night bookings will simply not be possible. So in this specific example, this extra will only apply to bookings that are 3 nights long. So these are the settings that we will find in both default and season rates. As I said, the default rate is mandatory, but only the price per night. Everything else is an option. You can choose to activate it or not. The season rates themselves are optional, so you don't have to create them if you don't want to. But remember to always configure these settings within each season rate individually, if you want those settings to apply as well. Default and season rates will show on the website in your rentals pages. You simply have to click on the rates tab, and here, as you can see, there's going to be this table that clearly explains what are the prices applying to the default and possible season rates that you may have created, and also if you have activated multiple or the other settings, multiple settings, they will also be visible here, including the occupancy and the price per weekday, weekly, etc. Now let's talk about the nightly override. So we have seen how to set up our room rate through the default rate and through the season rate, okay? There is a third way in Lodgify that allows you to configure your price per night and minimum stay. And it's not in the rental, it's in the calendar. So you would have to open the calendar section of your Lodgify account, be sure to be in the multi-unit view, and through the nightly override feature, you can basically select from the calendar the date or dates that you want to change the price for, or also the minimum stay for, and quickly change it from the calendar so that you don't have to create a season rate. Like a very common example is when you have a minimum stay of 3 nights, but you have your calendar is available for 2 days in between bookings. You will never be able to fill that gap, right? Because your minimum stay is 3 nights. So instead of creating a season rate and change the minimum stay just for 2 nights, you can quickly do it from the calendar. And this feature is available on both versions, so the desktop and the mobile. Very important, if you use the nightly override feature, the nightly override feature overrides, as the name of the feature may suggest, it overrides your default and season rate, the price per night and the minimum stay. If you have an occupancy set up in a season rate, for example, that works with the nightly override. So the nightly override just overrides the price per night and the minimum stay. And this is just a quick video that shows you how to use the nightly override on your calendar. So select the date, edit the price per night, enter the new price, change the minimum stay if you want, and save it. And then you will be able to easily recognize the prices changed through the nightly override because they become blue on the calendar. And you can also easily delete them if you want to restore the original prices, so the ones that you have configured in the default and in the season rate. Okay, so we have learned already how to configure our price per night and what other settings we can activate to be more flexible when working on pricing our rental. But just a repetition here, just to recap, remember that this is the hierarchy in Lodgify. If you have a nightly override, the nightly override overrides season rates and default rate. If you have no nightly override, but you do have season rates, the season rates will override your default rates. If you're not using season rates and nightly override, then your default rate will apply to the booking price. And the nightly override can work with some of the other settings configured in the default and season rates, such as the occupancy and check-in and check-out restriction. So this is just a recap of what the system considers more important in terms of the room rate. Okay, so whenever you use the nightly override, remember that that is the price that will apply. That is the minimum stay that will apply, regardless of if you have a season rate or not on those dates. Okay, but how do we determine the best price per night for our rental? If you're new to the business and you don't really know, or you don't have time to spend on thinking on what price would be the most convenient or to maximize revenue, there are a few things that you can do to kind of get an idea. For example, you could check your similar rentals, similar accommodations based on the type of rental, based on the amenities that you offer, based on the area, based on the season, on the most popular OTAs, such as OTAs stands for Online Travel Agency, such as Airbnb, Booking.com, and VRBO. You can also check this platform called alltherooms.com, which is basically a platform that analyzes the market, checks similar rentals in the area, the type of rentals, their amenities, the seasonality, and based on that gathers some data that then shares with their users. So you can use All the Rooms. I think you can activate a free account with them if you want to give it a look. Then, of course, use integrated dynamic pricing tools like PriceLabs and Beyond Pricing. These are two platforms that Lodgify has an integration to. So we have an integration with PriceLabs. We have an integration with Beyond. In a minute, I'm going to give you more information about both of them. But just so you know, these are dynamic pricing tools to which Lodgify has an integration that you can activate from our marketplace. So in your Lodgify account, just go to the marketplace. And then finally, this may be new to many of you, we have recently released an inbuilt, a built-in dynamic pricing tool, smart pricing tool, a Lodgify smart pricing tool. Again, in a second, we will give you some further information about it. Let's talk a little bit about PriceLabs and Beyond. What are they? They are dynamic and intelligent pricing. They configure a dynamic and intelligent pricing based on multiple factors, the ones that I just mentioned. So what type of rental do you offer? What amenities? What's the size? What's the area? What's the city? What's the occupancy? What is the season? And they consider all these factors to come up with the best price per night for you. So if you choose to work with either PriceLabs or Beyond, you have to have an account with Lodgify, of course. You also have to have an account with them. You activate the integration. The instructions on how to activate the integration are available in your account and also in our knowledge base, of course. And once the integration is working, so it's active, PriceLabs and Beyond will establish the price per night, the minimum stay, and the occupancy of your rental. And those settings will be automatically imported into Lodgify. And if you are using the channel manager, so if you're connected to any of the OTAs, so Airbnb, Booking, VRBO, and Expedia, those same settings will also be exported to the OTAs. Okay? I take advantage of this to remind you that there's a Lodgify Academy that you can enroll to. In the Lodgify Academy, you will find a lot of useful courses. One of these courses was created in collaboration with the Beyond team. So in case you're interested or you were thinking about activating Beyond pricing, etc., you can enroll to that course. There is a button in the webinar event. You you should see a green button that says join our free dynamic pricing course. It's completely free, and you can learn even more about how Beyond works and how the integration then works if you decide to activate it. Okay, so this is how you will you can activate the integration. Go to the marketplace inside your Lodgify account, few info here, and then follow the instructions provided there to start the integration. Now, I mentioned that we have recently released the Lodgify Smart Pricing Tool. It is not available in all accounts at the moment. It's still in beta, so there's a sample of customers that are testing it, and it's enabled upon request. It doesn't have any specific restriction when it comes to what subscription plan you're using with Lodgify, so everybody can use it. Very important, if you decide to, or if you activate Smart Pricing Tool, if you're using the Lodgify Smart Pricing Tool, you will be charged 0.8% of commission fees for all bookings, all those bookings that are received using the Smart Pricing Tool. And it works very similarly as Price Labs and Beyond. It's not the same though, but it will configure your price per night and length of stay prices. So LOS stands for length of stay, so weekly and monthly, price per weekday, occupancy, and short stay prices. Now, I don't know if, Linda, you may want to add something to this, to the Lodgify Smart Pricing.
Yes, so I can add a little bit about how it works. So similar to Price Labs or Beyond pricing, our Lodgify Smart Pricing is an in-house solution, so it seamlessly embeds with our existing product, so it eliminates the complexities of external integrations with other parties. The Lodgify Smart Pricing is built on a sophisticated algorithm that analyzes millions of nightly listing and booking data from various points like Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, and other market data sources. So it taking into account over 40 listing attributes, market conditions, and local trends, and providing you 18 months of nightly rates for your listing. We take into account like your property details, for example, its location, size, and amenities. And we also scrape data from over 1,500 markets and across 100 countries and in different urban and vacation destinations. So you will have the perfect rates for your specific listing. Above all of this, you also, with the smart pricing, have the flexibility to actually adjust and fine-tune your calendar and adjust any particular rates for specific days to ensure that your nightly rates are always aligned to your unique strategy, whether that's increasing prices during a local event or decreasing them to provide a personalized rate to your guests. So this is more or less how it works. We do have a knowledge-based article explaining this in more detail, and we are hoping to make this available to all our users very soon.
Thanks, Linda. Yeah, in case any of you is interested, as we said, it's still in beta, so we're testing it, but feel free to reach out to our support team, help@lodgify.com, and send them your request. And then, of course, it will be shared with the relevant team, and we will let you know. But yeah, in case you're interested, which I think you are, because I'm looking at the comments in the chat, and it seems like you're interested, guys. So feel free to contact us and request the activation. All right, I have in regards to default rates, season rates, nightly override, etc. I have collected some of the most common questions that we get from customers, and I wanted to show you these use them as example. Okay, so very often our customers ask, how can I offer a discount based on the number of nights booked? You can use the length of stay prices, so the weekly price and the monthly price. Let's take a look at a specific example. If my price per night is $100 and my price for 7 nights is $650, because you want to use the weekly price to give a discount to the guest. Normally, that's how the weekly and monthly prices are used. The price for 30 nights, so the monthly price is $2,500. What will the price of 15 nights be? So the way the system works, the logic of this calculation is take the weekly price so 650, divide it by 7, so 7 nights of the weekly price, and then multiply it by 15 nights. So this logic allows you to offer discounts not just for 7 nights, not just for 30 nights, or if you're using a custom period, not just for the custom period, but these lengths of stay prices will be used to recalculate the price per night and multiply it by the number of nights booked by the guest. Another very, very common question that we get from customers is the lowest price for my rental is $150, but the website displays from $200 per night. Why? This is because the system considers the combination of minimum stay and prices. Let's take a look again at an example. If your default rate price is $150, but your minimum stay for the default rate is 3 nights, and then you also have 2 season rates with higher prices but a lower minimum stay, the system will consider the lowest minimum stay. So in this case, the lowest minimum stay is 1 night. But there are 2 season rates associated to that minimum stay. Which one will it take? The one with the lowest price. So it always considers the lowest price associated to the lowest minimum stay. This is the price that you will see in your website, in your Lodgify website. It will say from $200. Why? Because the lowest price, which is $150, has a higher minimum stay. All right, now we know how to set up our price per night, what settings are available, how to use default, season rates, nightly override, what tools we have at our disposals, what resources we have at our disposals that can help us configure and determine, establish what's the best price for our rental. But you know better than me that the booking price is not just made of the room rate. There's more to it, right? Such as fees and taxes. You can configure fees and taxes in Lodgify for your rental. So in case, just to give an extra definition about a fee and a tax, a fee is any extra charge that goes beyond your room rate that is normally used to compensate for any additional service that you offer. Normally, it's very common to create, for example, the cleaning fee. Pretty much everybody charges a cleaning fee. A tax, instead, it's a contribution to the state revenue. It's normally the government that establishes what taxes you have to collect and remit. So fees are more in the you can choose what you want to charge as a fee. It can literally be anything. When it comes to taxes, instead, you kind of normally already know what taxes you have to collect and remit because the local authorities or the government normally shares that information with you. Both fees and taxes are optional. That means you don't have to create them. You don't have to charge them if you don't want to. And can be done in Lodgify. You can create them from 2 different sections, from the rental itself, but also from the settings section, both for fees and for taxes. There's a specific section where you can not just see all the fees and taxes you have already created on account level, but you can also create more. Fees and taxes, if you create them, will be automatically added to the booking price. So if you create a fee, that fee will be added to the booking price and the guest will be charged for it. Same for taxes. Let's take now a closer look at how to configure the fees and the taxes. Of course, first of all, give it a name. You can also add a description, but I think that the description is not going to be visible anywhere on the website, so it's just internal. Then you can configure the calculation model. So how much do you want to charge for this fee? It could be a flat fee, and it can be a single charge per stay per night or per guest per stay per night. So you have multiple combinations that you can use, but it can also be a percentage. Very important, if you create a fee or a tax as a percentage, that will only be calculated on the room rate. So not on the room rate plus other fees and taxes, just the room rate. And then here you can choose to assign the fee or a tax to multiple rentals, depending on if you have more than one in your account. Small note, we will talk more about this in a minute. You can add a sales tax on a fee, but we will look at the sales tax closely in the following slides. All right, just to give you an idea, this is how the booking breakdown will look like on the website. So here we have the rental. The rental section, let's say, is made of the room rate and any taxes that you may have created. And if you have fees, they will show here. All right, so this is how it looks like on the website. Let's now take a minute to talk about the sales tax. So what is the sales tax? It's a consumption tax imposed by the government on the sale of goods and services. If you're selling something, whether it's an item like an object or a service, you normally have to charge a sales tax. The sales tax is can be on country level, on region, city, it depends. The sales tax can be configured for the room rate and for the fee separately. So do you remember when I said that on fees can have sales tax? See, they can have sales tax. It's gonna be configured on the fee and on the room rate separately. You can also choose to configure it just for the for the room rate or for a fee. That's up to you. And then you can choose how the sales tax should display in the checkout page. For some customers, it makes more sense for the sales tax to actually be visible in the booking breakdown. For some other customers, they don't need the sales tax to be actually to show in the booking breakdown. They want it to be added to either the cost of the fee or the room rate. Let's see how we can configure it and how we will apply them. The sales tax can be configured as an inclusive or exclusive. What does it mean? An inclusive sales tax does not calculate additional taxes. That means that whatever percentage you set for the sales tax is not going to alter, is not going to change the price of the room rate in this case. So if your price per night is 100, the guest makes a booking for one night, the sales tax is there, but it's included in the room rate. If instead we create the sales tax as exclusive, that percentage is going to be added on top of the room rate. So if the price per night is 100 and we have a 10% exclusive sales tax, the final price of the room rate will be 110. And as I said before, you can choose if you want the sales tax to display in a separate line in the checkout page. And normally, for example, I think that for European customers, it makes more sense for the sales tax to not show in the booking breakdown, while in the US is very common to have it visible. In Lodgify, you can choose the way you want it to display, if you want it to display or you don't want it to display at all. This is how you do it. You go to the settings section of the account, you click on sales tax VAT, and you can choose between gross and net. Gross will not make the sales tax visible, while net will. But let's take a closer look at how it actually looks like, how all these settings combined together look like on the checkout page in Lodgify. So let's say that we have configured an inclusive 10% sales tax and the gross display. As you can see in the booking breakdown, the sales tax, it's not visible at all. And it's not even affecting the room rate. This is not changing. This is not higher than it's supposed to be. If instead I configure an inclusive 10% sales tax and I select net display, this is how it's going to look like. If you sum this and this, it's 600. So the price remained the same. It didn't change. It's just split into different lines so that the guest knows that they're paying this amount as the room rate and this amount as the sales tax. What if we configure an exclusive 10% sales tax and select gross display? In this case, the 10% is being actually added on top of our room rate. It's no longer 600, it's 600 plus 10%. But I don't know that there's a sales tax here because I've chosen the gross display. So the sales tax doesn't show. If instead I choose exclusive 10% sales tax and select net display, 660 is 660 as it is here, but it's just split in 2 different lines so that the guest is aware that they are paying a sales tax on the room rate. All right? So this is how to configure the sales tax, the difference between inclusive and exclusive, and the difference between gross display and net display. So you can literally achieve whatever result you want to achieve in the checkout page, if you prefer the sales tax to be visible, if not. Let's talk now about promotion and add-ons, which also have an effect on the price of our bookings, right? A promotion is a discount applied to the room rate. An add-on is an optional service or item that guests can book into their stay. So the difference between an add-on and a fee or a tax is that fees and taxes are mandatory for the guests. They have to pay for those if you have created them. Instead, an add-on is a choice. You offer the guest the possibility to add or to purchase an item or a service and that is extra to the booking, and they can choose to add it or not during the checkout process. Okay, very common. For example, the pet fee, right? The pet fee is called fee, but it's not a fee. It's in Lodgify, we would configure the pet fee as an add-on. Why? Because not everybody will bring a pet. So the guest will add the add-on during the checkout process, just if they will be bringing a pet. Okay? But add-ons can literally be anything. You can sell products, you can sell experiences, tour, anything. Creating promotions and add-ons is optional. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to, and can be done from, again, the rental section or the settings section, where you will find a specific promotion section where you can see all promotions on account level, or the add-ons as well. So just like for fees and taxes. Let's see how to create a promotion. First, we give the promotion a name. Then promotion can have a lot of different requirements, right? So for the booking to be eligible for the discount, it has to meet these requirements. First requirement is the promotion code. Again, you don't have to use it. It's not mandatory, but you can. You can add one or more promotion codes to one promotion, and the promotion will only apply if the guest enters the promotion code in the checkout page. So you must share the promotion code with your guests. You can do it through the website, but you can also do it through, I don't know, a campaign sent by email to the group of guests to which you want to offer the discount. But the promotion code must be shared. Otherwise, the promotion will not apply. Calculation model. Here again, we can choose if the promotion should be a percentage or a fixed amount. So it should discount a fixed amount from the booking price. If it's a percentage, remember that it only applies to the room rate. So not to the room rate plus the cleaning fee or plus the tourist tax. No, it's just the room rate. There's also a third option that you see on the screen. It's none. This doesn't apply any discounts to your bookings. What it does is show in the booking breakdown something that you would normally charge for free. For example, you normally charge for an early check-in. You can create early check-in as a promotion, select none. In the checkout page, it will show in the booking breakdown, early check-in, $0 or €0. Okay, so it's just a way for the guest to know that they are getting something for free, even though you would normally pay for it. Next, booking date range and stay date range. These are different settings. So booking date range refers to the dates that the booking is created, when the booking is created. It is not related to the stay, so to the check-in and check-out date. So if the booking is created within this date range, then the promotion applies. Stay date range instead refers to the actual check-in and check-out dates. You can activate them both at the same time, but they will both have to be met by the booking in order for the promotion to apply. Okay, so booking date range, when is the booking created? Stay date range is when is the guest going to stay. What else do we have? We have early booker and last minute. So last minute, if you book with less than 7 days advance notice, you will get a discount. Early booker is the opposite. You have to book with at least 15 days advance notice to get a discount. Now, it's very important when we are creating a promotion to never activate the two at the same time in the same promotion. Last minute and early booker cannot be created or shouldn't be created for the same promotion. Why? Because since the booking must meet all these requirements for the promotion to apply, a booking can never be last minute and early booker at the same time. Therefore, we should never configure them together in the same promotion. We can create two separate promotions, one with last minute and one with early booker. Finally, we can also activate a minimum stay. So the promotion only applies if the stay is at least 3 nights long or 7 nights long. All right, so these are the settings available when configuring our promotions. A few notes about the promotions. As we already said, discounts in percentage will only apply to the room rate, so not to the room rate plus the other items, just room rate. You can enable multiple requirements in one promotion at the same time, as we just saw. A booking must meet all promotion requirements for this to apply. So if you have a promo code, a booking date range, a stay date range, a minimum stay, and last minute, all 5 settings must be met by the booking in order for the promotion to apply. Otherwise, it won't. And finally, only one promotion can apply to one booking. In Lodgify, it is not possible to offer multiple promotions per booking. If one booking meets the requirements of multiple promotions, the one with the highest discount will apply to the price of the booking. Okay, so just one per booking. This is a quick demo of how they look like, the promotions look like on the website. So we select our dates. We are taken to the checkout page. There you go. The promotion is showing on the right side in the booking breakdown. It's green so that the guest knows, hey, there's a promotion here. You're getting a discount. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about add-ons. As we said, add-ons are optional services or items that the guests can choose to add to their booking. First of all, it's recommended for add-ons when creating one, to upload a picture, because in that case of the add-on, the picture is actually going to show on the website in the checkout page. So uploading a nice picture is just going to make the checkout page look nice. Give it a name and choose your calculation model. So again, it's flat fee or percentage. Percentage always only on the room rate. While if we choose a flat fee, you have a few different combinations. It can be a single charge per stay or per night, per guest per stay per night, per room per stay per night. Per room refers to a legacy feature that we have deprecated a few years ago called room types. So there are a few customers that are still using it, but that feature is no longer available. The last option is per quantity per stay. Per quantity per stay allows you to configure a maximum number of units. So let's say, for example, that as an add-on you want to offer your guests the possibility to rent a bike, but you only have 2 bikes per bookings. You can set 2 as the maximum unit number, and then the guest in the checkout page can choose, okay, I just want to rent 1 bike, or I want to rent 2 bikes, but no more than 2. All right. And since add-ons are items or services that you are selling, because the sales tax is a tax applied on the sale of every good and service, you can also configure the sales tax on an add-on. If you do, the options that you have are the same that we saw before, so inclusive or exclusive. If you do, it will display together with the other sales tax if you have chosen the net display. Okay, if it's gross, it's just gonna be, it's gonna show as part of the add-on. And then for add-ons, you can also add some blackout dates in case, for example, you don't want to, I don't know, you don't want to have pets during the summer months, right? Because they lose a lot of hair. In that case, you can choose that the add-on shouldn't show during summer. So you can select the period here, and the add-on will simply not be visible on the website for the guest to add it to their booking. All right, a few notes, just a recap of what we said so far. Add-ons in percentage will be calculated on the room rate only. You can set up a maximum quantity for the add-on so that you offer the guest the possibility to select multiple units of that same add-on with the limit. Guests will see all available add-ons in step 3 of the checkout page. So in the checkout page, they will be presented with the list of add-ons that you have created for them to choose. And the sales tax will be calculated and displayed as explained previously. So the logic of the sales tax is just the same as for fees and room rate. How do they look like on the website? Let's take a look at this short demo. There you go. This is how the add-ons look like. We add them to our booking and automatically they will be calculated inside the booking price, and they will have their own line in the booking breakdown in the checkout page. As you can see, just another quick look at it. It's really nice if you have to upload pictures here. Otherwise, it's just going to be like a gray box. So it's recommended. A couple of very common questions that we get from our customers in regards to promotion add-ons, fees and taxes. I have multiple promotion codes for the same promotion. How can I see what promotion code was used in each booking? There is a way to do that. You can download the booking report from the reservation section. So this is the reservation section, right? If you want to use filters, you can use filters. So for example, I only want to see the reservation for the month of August. Okay, so you use filters. You can also filter by rental. You can also filter by source of the booking, if it's manual booking or direct booking from the website. And then by clicking on this little icon here at the bottom of the reservation list, you will download the booking report. And the booking report is just a CSV file that includes all the information about the bookings. In particular, it also includes the information related to the promotion code. So you can download the booking report, check the booking report to see how many times the summer 24 was used, how many times summer 20 was used, and by whom. Because of course here on the left, now this is just like zoomed in, but on the left you would also have the details about the guest. Next, very, very common question is, how can I have the sales tax applying on the sum of room rate and cleaning fee? This is very common. You can configure the same sales tax on the room rate and the cleaning fee separately. Cleaning fee is just an example. It can be any fee, but the cleaning fee is just the most common one. Let's take a look at this practical example. 10% sales tax should be calculated on my room rate and cleaning fee and be visible in the booking cost breakdown. All right, step 1, we configure the sales tax here in the fees and taxes section of our account. This sales tax will only apply to the room rate. Then we configure the same sales tax for the cleaning fee. So the cleaning fee or whatever other fee. And we choose the net display in the settings. Sales tax VAT, we choose the net display. And we are done. This is 10% of the room rate, which is 700, and 10% of the cleaning fee, which is 150. It should be 85. All right. So this is how you can have the sales tax applying to the sum of, even though, as I said, the sales tax in the room rate is just for the room rate, there's a way to have it applying on the sum of your room rate plus any other fee that you may want to create, because this cleaning fee, as I said, is just an example. You can have whatever fee and create the sales tax on it, and it will follow the same logic. All right, so I think that we have covered everything that you can configure when it comes to your booking price in Lodgify. Of course, I see a lot of questions, so in the next minutes we'll try to cover as many as we can. But as I said, if there's anything that we are unable to answer now or to address now, we will take note and we will send the answers in the follow-up email that you will receive tomorrow or on Friday with the recording of the session as well. All right, so let's take a look at this question. You can still, Claire is asking, did you say you can still override certain dates with your rates on smart pricing? As the slide said, those features are inaccessible whilst using. Maybe Linda, you want to take this one?
Yes, I believe I already answered this one. Yes, nightly overrides are supported for the Lodgify smart pricing.
Yeah, maybe with the Lodgify smart pricing, clearly you have much more control over the prices that you want, because you can change those in Lodgify. You can use the nightly override. If you're using an external dynamic pricing tool, such as PriceLabs and Beyond, you will have to apply all the changes from there. So if you want to change a price per night or a weekly price, you will have to do it from PriceLabs and Beyond. You lose access to those settings in Lodgify. But for our own tool, so Lodgify Smart Pricing, you can pretty much do whatever you want. The price is just an indication, like a recommendation. This is the recommended price, but then you can change it to whatever you want. Would Lodgify tool still apply if you're using a dynamic pricing software? The settings that are managed from PriceLabs and Beyond are price per night. Price per night means price per night, weekly prices, monthly prices, price per weekday. So price per night, minimum stay, and occupancy. So those settings, in case you have activated an external pricing tool, you cannot access them anymore in Lodgify, because we import those values from the external platforms. Everything else, you can use it, and you can use Lodgify as normal. So next question is, can you cover how this works if we are using PriceLabs? This is Anthony asking. I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but this is how it works. You activate the integration with PriceLabs. PriceLabs will have the information about your rental, right? So the size, the amenities, the location, etc. All those criteria that it has to consider when coming up with the best price for you, right? So you will be able to see and manage these prices and these settings, which again are price per night, minimum stay, and occupancy in PriceLabs, and they will be automatically imported in Lodgify. You will be able to see the price per night for each night on your Lodgify calendar, while you cannot access the default rate and season rate anymore. I mean, you can access it, but you cannot work on those settings. The prices that we import from PriceLabs and also Beyond, not just PriceLabs, will be visible on your Lodgify calendar in the multi-unit view. So everything happens automatically. Still, you are able to access your PriceLabs account and change the settings to your liking. In case there's a price you don't like or a minimum stay that you don't like, you will have to change it in PriceLabs, and it will be automatically updated in Lodgify. And again, if you're using the channel manager, it will also be exported to the connected OTAs. Okay. Is it possible to see the recordings? Yes, of course. As I said, we will be sending the follow-up email by the end of the, let's say, working week, so by Friday, with the recording of the session. And I think it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel as well. So in case you missed the email, you will find it there as well. See, together with the other sessions. Yes, of course. The recordings of the other webinars are all in our YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube, search Lodgify, and you should find all the like the recordings of all the webinars. What about the application checkbox on the override? I think let me see if I can go back to that slide with the nightly override. I think you may be referring to, let me know if I'm wrong. Sorry, but I have to go all the way back to nightly override, so it's gonna take a minute. But we are almost there. You may be referring when you are using the nightly override feature, right? So you're in this case, I am deleting the nightly override in the video, but let's replay the video. When you select the dates on the calendar and click on edit nightly price, you are referring to this, recalculate and override all the ride rates. This is something that is, if this is what you're referring to, this is something that is mostly related to the connection to the external channels. So the ride rates are rates that are not, they don't apply to Lodgify bookings. They apply only to external channels. They are used differently depending on the channel, but we will have a session, like we will have a webinar on the channel manager and the connection to the external online travel agency as well. And in that session, we will cover the ride rates. But let's just say that if you're connected to Airbnb or Booking.com or Airbnb or VRBO or Expedia, always be sure to have that box ticked, so to avoid any mistake. But I don't know if that was what you were asking. Would Lodgify, no, so this one we already covered. Special discount. Can you please let me know how I can create a special discount to be sent to some of my subscribers? You can create a promotion and have a promotion code inside. So, and share that promotion code only with your subscribers. So they would be the only one able to actually use that promotion or to enter that promotion code in the checkout page. Just create a promotion, have configure a promo code or more promo codes if you want, and just share those codes with your subscribers. So yes, that is possible. If we have price labs, do we need Lodgify smart pricing? I'm gonna leave this one to you, Linda.
Yes, so price labs beyond pricing, they cannot be used together with Lodgify smart pricing, so you will have to choose one over the other. As was mentioned before, obviously with Lodgify smart pricing, you have a lot more control, as you can manage everything through Lodgify without having to sign up with Beyond or Price Labs. So everything is embedded into our existing solution. Yeah, I would say if this answers the question.
There's another question for you, Linda, I think. It's the following one. What is the reason to choose Lodgify smart pricing over other competitors?
Yeah, I think this, what I just mentioned also goes along with that. So with the external providers, you do have to do the integration externally. You do have to sign up, you do have to pay them, and you have to manage, you have to juggle between the two different platforms. So in Lodgify, you can do everything inside our platform, which is much, much more easier and reduces this complexity for you as a user. And we have really tried to simplify it down to the most essential features to provide you as less complexity as possible. So I would say this is the main reason.
Thank you, Linda. One thing I don't know with smart pricing is if I can still set weekly and monthly prices, or at least minimums for each. If you're referring to Price Labs and Beyond, you are, but from Price Labs and Beyond. So you can set weekly and monthly prices. If you're using Lodgify smart pricing, correct me if I'm wrong, Linda, but you should still be able to set up these prices. I mean, the tool will come up with prices itself, but you should be able to change those if you want, right?
Yes, so the tool will provide you nightly rates, but the weekly and monthly rates you will not are not supported today, as we are still in the early beta, but we are going to support them in the future. So now you just have access to the nightly rates.
Okay. So with Lodgify smart pricing tool, no. But if you're using or referring to an external platform, yes, you can change them directly from the external platforms that you're using. Can you also let me know if the 0.8 charge on your dynamic pricing tool is applied to all income from OTAs and direct bookings? I think it is. For all bookings that are created based on the prices set through the smart pricing tool, all those bookings are subject to the 0.8% charge. Next question. One thing I don't know what smart pricing is. If I can see, oh no, sorry, we already covered that. The myriad of options on taxes makes some of these tasks almost unbearable. Is there a way to simplify this step with low, medium, and high configuration options? It depends on what you're trying to achieve. This is what you are able to do with Lodgify options. It's a lot of options because there's many different needs, right? So we try to build a product that can fit all of the different needs. If you have something specific in mind, in that case, I would suggest you to reach out to our support team at help@lodgify.com. We can take a look at your account. We can understand what you need a little better and guide you on what's the easiest way to achieve that with our tool, basically. But the reason why there are many options is because there are many different needs, right? So, but let us know. We will be happy to take a look at your account or your specific settings and needs and help you configure your fees and taxes in the easiest way possible. Are the promotions visible on Airbnb and Booking.com? On Airbnb, if they are configured in a certain way, yes, they will be sent and be visible on Airbnb. They have to have specific requirements. Let's say they cannot have a promotion code, they cannot have a booking date range. There is, again, the info is available in our knowledge base, but you can also reach out to us and we will be happy to give you a more specific answer, more accurate answer. For Booking.com, no, we can't export promotions. So promotion for Booking.com will have to be configured in Booking.com. Okay, do the add-ons still appear at checkout on channel partners such as Airbnb? Add-ons are not exported to any OTA. So no add-ons on Airbnb, no add-ons on Booking.com, no add-ons on VRBO, and no add-ons on Expedia. The integration doesn't support the synchronization of add-ons. How would you handle a real-time fee? In other words, a hot tub fee that only applies if the customer decides to use the hot tub. Same thing for a sauna. This is different from an add-on because the decision to use the amenity could be made in real time. Yes. In that case, because you don't know if the guest is going to actually make use of that service or not, you can make it clear on your website. For example, in, I don't know, there's in the rate section of your rental on the website, you can clarify there's going to be an extra charge in case you will be using the hot tub. And then after the stay, you can add the extra charge to their booking and charge them. But or through the pre-authorization, so that like the security deposit, you can, but that is the kind of different type of concept. But you could use the amount that you have blocked through the security deposit feature in case you're using it, and then charge it only if there's any need to charge it. So in case the guest has used that specific service. Or the easiest way is just to maybe add this to your rental agreement, have your guests agreeing to the rental agreement so that they know that in case they make use of that service, there's going to be an extra charge. And then you can add that fee to the booking from the account yourself later on, after, when you can check if they actually used it or not. Okay, so a lot of questions about the channel manager. Do promotions synchronize with Airbnb Booking.com? I think we already covered that. With Airbnb, yes, in most cases. With Booking.com, No, so they have to be set up in Booking. I need to understand how we can avoid pricing mistakes that are due to the fact that each property on each platform has different promotions. So one property can have a promo on Airbnb and 2 cumulative promo on Booking.com. So when we are pricing on Lodgify, it is very challenging to know what will be the final price that will be booked, especially when you have multiple properties. Yes, I understand the way the connection with the external channels work at the moment is very different. So what the price will be in Airbnb is not going to be the same price in Booking.com, because Booking.com has different restrictions or different limitations, or the type of integration that we have is just different. So I can understand the struggle with that. Any feedback that you have on this, please feel free to share it with us in like send us a message, a ticket, help@lodgify.com again, so that we can pass it to the product team and they can take it into consideration to improve that specific feature, or to implement like a tool that will allow you to have a better understanding of what will be the prices on each platform. But I do understand the struggle in this case, but that's because the fact that we are working with external platforms means that we also have to adapt to what they allow us to do and what they don't, and it's not always the same. At the same time, the integration itself is different. Great presentation. Oh, thank you. If I lost it. If I'm a customer shopping on a Lodgify website, where could I see the price per night other than the checkout? Example, I'd like to know how much this Friday night is at X listing. Where does it show what the rate is? In the websites, in the rental page on the website. So if you are using Lodgify website, your rental has its own page. In the page, there's a rate section. And if you have a specific, if you host the owner of the property or the manager of the property, if you have configured a special price for Friday, it will be visible there for default rate and season rate as well, not nightly override. So if you change your prices through the calendar, as you're seeing on the screen, those prices are not going to be visible on the website, just default and season rates. But if you have a special price for Friday or for the month of August, it's going to be visible in the rate section of the rental on the website. I would say maybe we can answer one more question and then I will close this meeting. But as I said, any question that we have missed, we will follow up by email. Does the Lodgify Smart Pricing also offers dynamic minimum stay? Linda, maybe you want to answer?
No, today it doesn't. So it's only offers the pricing. So minimum stay you will have to configure manually, but hopefully in the future we can also offer dynamic minimum stay.
Okay, thank you, Linda. All right, so I would say we are going to close the meeting now. Stay tuned for the follow-up email. In the follow-up email, you will find the recording and any follow-up question or answer that we couldn't cover today. I want to thank Linda for participating to the webinar with me. I want to thank my colleagues in the chat. And I also want to thank everybody who joined and participated. Thank you for being so active and for asking so many questions. And if for those who made it until the end, good job. And for those who couldn't, as I said, no worries. You will be able to rewatch the session in the email, but also on YouTube next week probably. So thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of the day. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.